Hey everybody, I'm Sam Topman here with Tim McKnight with the Global Center for Youth Ministry, and we've got a great topic today. We're going to be talking about family ministry. Personally, I love to talk about family ministry. It's kind of what at least the model that I used in my own ministry. I know there's a lot of other models out there, but I really enjoy it. I think it's something that's missing in a lot of youth ministry, even if you have a traditional type ministry. About reaching out to families and connecting with them and empowering them to do ministry in their home as well as at church. So I see that you're rocking some Anderson University gear.
I am branded today.
Is there a reason?
Yes, we are celebrating the fact today that we have signed an agreement with Spurgeon's College to have a partnership with them, Spurgeon's College in London. And so we're excited about Clamp Divinity School and the College of Christian Studies here at Anderson University forming that relationship.
Yes. So does that mean we're going to be doing some broadcasts from London?
Hopefully, that would be great.
That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah,
do
on
they have
location.
Ministry in
They
London?
do.
Sweet.
They do. They have
Nice.
teenagers in London. They do.
The Global Center for
The Global Center for
Youth
Youth Ministry,
Ministry.
yes.
Do
So
something
London
in
is
London.
one of our partnerships.
I'm excited about that.
Yep,
That's pretty sweet.
that'd be good.
Let's talk about family ministry.
Fish and chips.
Yes, right.
Yep.
It's very good. Yes, I won't go there. There's a lot of restaurants. We were there recently and had a good time there. So, talking about family ministry, we got a lot of resources in front of us. I see you have Timothy Paul Jones's book here. You just started reading that, right? You're fresh into
Yeah,
it.
I'm going back over this for a book, a second
Yep.
edition of Raising the Bar,
Nice.
and talking about just the family and things that developed since that first edition came out.
Oh, yeah.
And just the fact that we historically haven't engaged the family
Right.
in the past, and so seeing the movement between Orange and different things,
Yeah.
looking at family equipping ministry, family-based ministry,
Speaking of Orange.
just how we can engage parents and how we can engage families
Yep.
with the gospel.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's really cool to see what's happening, and I know this has kind of been a decade in the running here. So you mentioned Orange from Reggie Joyner, and he's kind of like the godfather of family ministry, and I just really want to pump his book. It's really good. I don't know, some of the theology is kind of weird for me about God kind of or the church teaches them about the glory of God, and the family teaches them about the love of God. I think it's maybe a mix of that,
I
right?
think he may have extended that a little.
Yeah,
much
he
more.
did, but generally speaking, though, I love the model that he uses, and I think the point of the book is about getting everybody on the same track, and empowering parents. And one of the things I found in my own ministry, we had kind of the typical traditional youth ministry, and when I had kids, it like changed my total perspective about what I wanted my role to be as a father, not just as a youth minister. And what I really started seeing was I was taking that away from parents a lot of times. And I know we talked about parents a couple of episodes ago, but I think it's so important that we empower parents and come alongside them instead of just kind of taking the reins and let me lead your kid to God. It's more like, let's do this together.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that we can do. Do you see that?
Yeah, I think, excuse me, one of the things we have to be careful about is telling parents about things they already want to do.
Right.
Most parents in the church parents, they already know that they have the primary role as a discipler
Right.
in the home. They don't contest that.
Right.
And so the stereotype of the parent that is just
almost like a slam, right?
dumping the kid off or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not, the stereotype really doesn't hold a lot of weight among church parents.
Right.
The ones who are really engaged in worship and, regularly attending Bible study, that type of thing. So the problem's not necessarily the idea of getting their mind around their role. Who's ever discipled them to show them how to do it?
Yeah.
And so really, when we talk about family engaged ministry or family equipping ministry with youth ministry, it really comes down to a discipleship issue.
Right.
That we need to come alongside parents and disciple them. That might not be the youth minister or any of the youth leaders. that might be through median adult ministry in the church or young adult ministry in the church, depending upon the age of the parent. So it really comes into that team effort, and that's one of the positives I see looking at the family ministry is that we used to on church staff have the silos that we lived in and kind of just, we operated in those. Right. And so looking at it big picture and seeing how the gospel engages families and then trying to see how we as ministers on staff at a church or even volunteers at a church can coordinate and communicate, but also actively disciple and show people how to disciple parents as well. And so helping to engage them that way, I think it's especially critical too for those of you who are first starting youth ministry. I was like 20, 22, 21 years old. I didn't know what it was meant to be a parent of a teenager. I had a lot of ideas about what they should be doing. Oh yeah, I mean, I was the expert because I read a book, right? So I think for those of you who are in that category, this approach really focusing on the family really is liberating for you because you can have folks come alongside you who can help disciple those parents. And you can even be a part of that in facilitating that, but not feel like you necessarily have to sit beside a parent and say, hey, let me tell you how you need to raise your student. Because the result's going to be that parent looks at you and go, well, when have you done that? And so really, I think, especially for the person who's young in youth ministry, it really is a liberating thing. I wish that we'd had this focus when I started in youth ministry. It would have saved me.
Changed things,
it would have been a game changer.
Let me kind of point to some of these resources here, and then I want to kind of do just some practical things to empower and equip parents. Okay, so one, this is a little bit of a shameless plug because I actually have an article in this. This is the D6 Family Ministry Journal, Volume 4. If you want to see my article in there, but it does a really good job. Looking at kind of the academic side and making sure that we are staying equipped ourselves as youth ministers to do family ministry. And then Voddie Baucham, which is another one that's kind of known for family ministry. He's kind of a pure family ministry kind of person as far as I'm aware. But Family Shepherds is a really great book about helping men, fathers, connect with their students, which for me, in my experience, was very challenging to do. We could probably do a whole episode on engaging fathers, right? The one that I really like, I don't even know if it's still in print, but Engaging Parents as Allies. And there's just a bunch of nuggets, treasure trove of just practical things to incorporate parents and engage parents. And then just to touch on this, Shift by Brian Haynes does a really good job. He kind of focuses on milestones and things that we can plan ahead, right? Milestones like coming out of middle school, graduating high school, driver's license. Those major things in people's lives that are important to parents and important to students. If we can use that to kind of point them to Christ and solidify relationships in the youth group, it's just a big deal. And that's something we know is coming and far in advance, and so we can address those things. So a couple of things I think in family ministry, and one, it's kind of a long-term deal. It's if you're thinking about doing family ministry in your youth ministry and you've kind of been doing kind of the traditional youth ministry, it's a challenge. It's not as easy as saying, hey, parents, get involved. You have to retrain everybody, parents, youth leaders, yourself, a lot of times in perspective. And so you have to kind of take a long game approach to these kind of things. And then others, communication is huge. I don't know, kind of your experience in this, but like that's the one complaint I think I hear most from parents when I was in youth ministry is that we're not communicating enough. And so we really, in our ministry, we really focused on that. Planning way far in advance.
Right.
We have so much technology today to help us with this, right? Like GroupMe and some of those apps where we can create that family culture.
Yeah.
So, with parents.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal. A lot of times it's so isolating because you feel like you're never good enough, right? You're trying to parent your child, and if you have a teen, I've got a new teenager. You've had several, right?
So, yeah, I've got a lot.
It's tough, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just you never feel like you're doing the right thing, and so I think if we can create a culture with our parents where they're talking to each other, and we're using these technologies where Facebook and some of those kind of things, that's where our parents are, you know. And so I think that's really helpful to them. So
yeah, I think the other thing too is just helping parents see how the gospel is the center of the family and how that impacts the family missionally, and how that relates to the relationship with the church at large. Right. And so helping them see how they understand the gospel and how they teach the gospel to their children, how that impacts their witness even as a family for the people in their circles of influence. And so I think that family ministry helps us to, if we do it well, it helps us to give our families a missional mindset on how they can use the home as a base for gospel influence in their physical neighborhood or among the neighbors, you know, who are the people that they see on a regular basis. Oh, yeah. That also impacts the church, because that should be the mission of the congregation as well. Yeah. That the congregation is seeking to reach people from every tribe, tongue, and nation. And so seeing how does the family relate to that? Okay, as a parent, how does the gospel relate to my life? And then as a parent, how do I communicate that to my student? And that really is going to come through discipleship within the church, because if the parents don't have people who are coming alongside that, whether it be a life group, a Sunday school class, a mentoring group, whatever it might be, if we don't have those discipleship relationships within the church where people are you know, the Paul's pouring into the Timothy, or the Barnabas is pouring in, you know, as an encourager, then we really aren't helping each other. We're not spurring each other on to love and good deeds, and we're not helping each other be that aircraft carrier that the church is supposed to be, that's sending planes out on mission with the gospel. So I think the family really is the most powerful evangelistic tool in the church, especially at this time when we have so many questions about what does it mean to be a family, and so many questions about even biblical manhood and womanhood, or a biblical approach to gender and identity. The family really is going to be, in my opinion, the tool for the future with Gen Z and with whatever generations we encounter after Gen Z. So.
And if you're a youth pastor and you're telling your people that, you know, you ought to do this, you've got to be the spiritual leader, and you don't provide them with tools or how to do it, you're really just causing frustration, I think, and concern with parents. So look at your youth ministry. How are you equipping parents? What tools are you putting in their hands? How are you engaging them? I think if you do that, it totally transforms how you approach them and how they approach the youth ministry. So good luck. All right, so if you like this video, make sure you comment, like it, share it, all those kind of things, and we'd love to hear from you and how you're using youth ministry and how you're using family ministry in your ministry. And so we look forward to seeing what you do. So
thanks for watching.
See you later.
God bless.